I think I would say this is rather a new passion more than something that is inborn. Everything started when I went to Florida for my undergraduate degree. This was at Lynn University. I really enjoyed being at Lynn University because it's an amazing place. You have amazing teachers and amazing classes. And actually, what I like the most about my experience in America and doing a bachelor's is the core curriculum had very strong emphasis justice and civic life, which was a group of great readings, historic readings from Aristotle to Socrates to Roques Rousseau and all like philosophy. There was another one that was called Believe in Reason, of course. There was stuff from the Bible, stuff from the Quran, like also kind of religions. And there was another one that was called Self and Society, which was more like psychology and how people in society, like men versus society, all those things like really sparked a special interest in my studies, and that led me to study political science, international relations in conjunction to communications. But this presentation is actually about digital media, of course, and about the weight and how digital media has a huge impact in civics, and you could call it politics or justice and civic life. They had a really good curriculum. It was very interesting. It's called Dialogues of Learning. The Dialogues of Learning at Lynn University is the core curriculum which teaches different levels of self and society, belief in reason, scientific literacy, math literacy, etc. I think that's why this leads me to a very, very good conclusion. And I would say, public figures, and especially politicians, because they're everywhere. You see them everywhere on TV, on the radio, newspapers. They influence so much of our lives that they're probably like something like cultural influencers in chief. And that means that they influence our culture. They influence, if we watch the Oscars, for example, Michelle Obama was there. And when she was there, there was a huge crowd, like so excited about everything. And they like influence so much of how we view things and what we value and what we celebrate. So all the use of social media, including, first of all, Twitter, which is a microblog for 140 characters where you can voice out your opinion. Facebook, which has a billion users about. YouTube, Snapchat, Periscope have dramatically changed the way campaigns are run and how people interact with the elected officials. Social networking sites have also emerged as a key venue for political debate and discussion. Today, you can just say anything and you can voice your opinion. In my view, I think it's a much transparent democracy, and it's great socially because it gives a voice to the ones that cannot even, don't have the opportunity to voice their opinions. In 2012, Lynn University was so happy and delighted to announce that it had been selected as the host for the Obama versus Romney presidential debate. After a lot of Twitter posts and Facebook posts and a lot of engagement from people, it was finally heard. However, the question remains, how does a tiny, small private university in Florida introduce its brand to 65 million people at the same time? Well, the answer lies, Lynn University got ready a year ahead of time. It was great. A year ahead of time, the debate was announced. Everyone was really excited, especially international students. Lynn University has a huge concentration of international students. Lynn University has also started laying down miles of cables and even filling one of the lakes on campus to make it easier for communication tracks to comfortably deliver their communications. They even opened a new entrance. That's right, they built a new entrance. Lynn only had, I think, 2 entrances, and they built another entrance just for the debate. Lynn University put together a school curriculum for grades K to 12 on debate and presidential history. And they put it available on, guess what? iTunes. So there was even more use of digital media. But most importantly was the economic impact that it had on the city of Boca Raton. This single campaign tried to get seriously everyone involved. The campaign generated a total of $13.1 million in immediate economic impact for Palm Beach County, including approximately $1.7 million in elevated spending by local residents and increased bed taxes by 22% and obtained more than $63 million in publicity value for Lynn and for the community, including more than $50 million in the city of Boca. So of course, a project like this needed a lot of people. There's always a lot of people behind any big project like this. It's not just a one-person effort ever. So of course they needed people, and where else would be a great place to find energetic, super energetic people like in a college in college. So they were looking for a lot of different volunteer opportunities, and I actually tried to be a volunteer, and I signed up, and I got the media storyteller opportunity, which was pretty much sort of reporting on the development of this huge project. It was a fantastic opportunity. I did it with a couple of friends. We got to speak with the Commission of Presidential Debates to see how everything unfolds. Of course, they had to be in the university. Of course, they had to be established way before the presidential debate, and they had to organize everything and every single slot and kiosk for every single news outlet and every single media outlet. And there were so many media outlets. My favorites were there. BBC was there. I always looked up to BBC. CNN is one of my all-time favorite. I've been watching it since I was probably I knew how to watch news. There was ABC. There was entertainment television. There was ESPN. There were so many media outlets there, but they needed to be placed strategically. So they paid for a spot. Obviously, everyone pays for a spot. Google was there too. And they had to organize everything, and people would come, and there were people that would actually help set up. So there were students that would actually help set up, and we would just interview them So we would interview those people that helped set up, including students, on what has to go where, the cameras, the cables, lots of lights, all the production equipment that a good television production includes. Even though it's not movies, but it's news, and it's very important, and it's such a huge event, and it's a world event because it changes history. It was amazing. Another great thing that the Lynn University actually did was their own engagement strategy for students. They had so many events. They had prizes. There was a raffle, and a couple of students would win actually seats to sit inside a debate and be in front of Barack Obama and Romney. And I didn't win. My ex-boyfriend won, but it was. So yeah, storytellers like me would have the job of being on our phones all the time, and either Facebook or tweet or anything like YouTube. There's thousands of blogger. There's thousands of media platforms where we could voice our opinion and or excitement. It was all about keeping it very exciting. Second thing that students could do to get involved was participate in different groups, and there was a special we were gonna make a mock debate, which means not a kind of a fake debate, but it was just for students. And I also was super engaged in that, and I showed my tweets and everything, and I actually won to be a moderator for the debate. There was other kids there was a Democratic contestant, his name, and there was a Republican contestant. But even before that, there were the primaries. And I truly learned so much about American process and politics and the electoral college and all that. It was fascinating to me, especially for, people that study these things. And well, of course, like any media project, we had to have a script, and we had to have like a video audio script, and we also had to have the format of the debate that we wanted to have. And this was another strategy to engage people, in what we were doing. So we had 1 minute opening statement for the 5 candidates of the primary. 25 minutes questioning from the moderator. So I was asking questions and I had to control everybody. And that's pretty much how a debate works. So then they had 60 seconds to respond. Just 60 seconds to respond. 60 seconds to respond to any of the questions, from education to healthcare to taxes. And then after that, the other contestants had 60 seconds for repeaters, so to refute what the other contestant was saying. It was pretty exciting. And then there was 20 minutes of questioning from the audience. So the audience stood up and challenged them to even more questions. And it was all like, we all really liked it. Of course, it was not 100% real, but of course there were issues that face society. So it was pretty good. And we did one debate for college students and another debate for high school students. So even high schools around the area were into this. Of course, the debate team had a very entrepreneurial and business spirit too. So what we did was charging $10 per ticket to all of the mock debates. So we did make a profit. And last but not least, I think that debates are a great way to have a good audience because they're open-ended, and it just refreshes your mind and opens your mind into things that you probably didn't know and you're not used to, and you experience different perspectives. If you're in an international setting, a very different perspective from around the world, which is amazing. It's always very enriching and powerful. So for those of you who would like to join and be part of this exciting practice of debating, there's a few ways you can start. Number 1, you can do what's called impromptu speaking, and this is when your group, your team chooses certain quotes from a list. There can be life quotes, it can be famous quotes from famous people, famous thinkers, philosophers, influencers, whoever you admire. And for example, let's say the quote reads, "Choose a goal for which you're willing to exchange a piece of your life." So people just write it and start writing their opinions and then voice out everything they think about the quote. And they have, of course you have to set times. So you would set, like, for example, 5 minutes or 7 minutes to debate about the quote and what it means. You could also do another exercise, and the exercise is called informative speaking. And this is an original and factual speech by the student on a realist subject to fulfill the general aim to inform the audience. So you can use audiovisuals as a supplement to help you reinforce your message and your point. And of course, because it's informative, this would actually last a lot longer than, let's say, like 10 minutes, because you're informing people about a subject that's of common concern today, contemporarily, like environmental policy or stuff like that. The third way you can engage your team on debate is by prose interpretation, and this means you choose prose material of literary merit, such as Shakespeare or Miguel de Cervantes, or any famous literary work that speaks to you personally, or speaks to the culture of your team. And you have to focus on the development of the narrative and talk about how the development happened. If it's just, a love crisis of Romeo and Juliet, like what led to that crisis and why is it so important to remember this great literacy merit. So, in conclusion, debating is a great activity. I think that it is a great activity for your heart, your mind, and your soul. And well, this debate that I participated in was absolutely great. The impact that we had, some numbers. We had 33,000 total news stories approximately, about 63 million in publicity value approximately, and 500 million in news circulation and viewership. So yeah, it was a great experience, and I think the life lesson here is just, speak your mind. This is the power of not only social media, but public speaking and freedom of speech.